Row 6 held a woman in restless slumber when elite Navy operatives suddenly surrounded her. Before you dive into this pulse-racing story where ordinary lives collide with hidden forces, remember, missing what comes next isn't an option. Aboard Flight 247 to Washington, D.C.com filled the cabin. Engines hummed. Passengers worked or slept. By the window, Emily Harper drifted between exhaustion and dread. For 3 sleepless days, she'd been running, her image appearing on security monitors without consent. She tried to seem normal until heavy footsteps echoed down the aisle. When she looked up, her blood froze. Armed figures in tactical gear surrounded her row. The leader bore a Navy SEAL insignia and raised his fist for silence. Passengers gasped. Children clung to parents. Why her? What could justify a military squad on a commercial flight? Emily whispered. This is happening again. The men exchanged stunned looks. The commander murmured, It's her. The resemblance is unmistakable. Emily Harper wasn't ordinary. She was the daughter of Commander Nathan Harper, Navy legend presumed dead, once leader of these same men. History she'd buried had found her. Father, she whispered, what burden have you left me? Silence thickened. The commander leaned close. Are you Emily Harper? He asked. She nodded faintly. Come quietly, he warned. Someone aboard wants you dead before we land. Scanning the rows, Emily spotted a suited man watching her too intently. He reached into his jacket. Passengers screamed. Operatives leapt, subduing him in seconds. Inside his coat was no gun only, a black badge engraved with a symbol Emily had seen once on her father's desk. The commander's jaw hardened. The name struck Emily like ice. The captured man smirked as though a trap had already sprung. Emily realized she was the center of her father's unfinished war. His words echoed in her memory. Without fighting back, survival becomes impossible. Suddenly the aircraft jolted. Lights flickered, oxygen masks dropped, passengers screamed. Navigation interference, the pilot announced, voice shaking. The operatives exchanged curses. They've hacked the avionics. Captive laughed. Too late, she won't reach DC. Fear turned to fury. Emily stood. If I'm the target, fine, but leave him out of this. The commander grasped her shoulder. Your father said the same before saving thousands. Emotion surged through her. Maybe courage wasn't learned, it was inherited. Then the captive convulsed, blood foaming from his lips. A poison capsule. His final smirk seemed to say, you'll never escape this aircraft. Panic erupted. The operatives whispered frantic strategies. Emily clutched her seat. She now knew the truth. Her father hadn't died pointlessly. He'd fought a secret war, and its enemies were still hunting his bloodline. But Emily refused to vanish. You want to fight? She whispered. You'll get one.
As the final hour of Flight 47 began, tension pressed on every breath. The commander knelt beside her, explaining. Her father had hidden documents that could destroy Black Talon.
Only she knew the key encoded in the lullabies he sang when she was small. Lyrics she'd dismissed now echoed as coordinates. She was the map. Her memory, the weapon. The Navy team needed her alive. Black Talon needed her dead, Emily whispered. The first line of the lullaby to the commander, then an explosion ripped the fuselage apart. Crimson lights bathed the cabin. A hole yawned near the rear as oxygen masks fell for real. Through smoke, dark-clad mercenaries climbed aboard using grappling hooks. Passengers ducked while operatives fought hand-to-hand to avoid gunfire that could rupture the plane. The narrow aisle became a war zone. Emily crouched low, pulse pounding. A mercenary lunged with a knife. She tore the tray table free and smashed it into his face. Trembling, yet fierce, she realized she was her father's daughter. Courage ran in her veins. She shouted the coordinates between gasps. North 73, West 29. The commander's eyes widened. That's the drop site. Before he could move, another mercenary seized Emily from behind, blade at her throat. The cabin froze. The commander lifted his hand to halt fire. Emily stomped hard, drove her elbow into the man's ribs, and ducked as operatives tackled him. Then the pilot's voice shrieked through static. Brace for emergency landing. The aircraft plunged toward DC, lights strobing, wind roaring. But Emily held firm. No longer the terrified fugitive who'd boarded ours earlier, she was the warrior her father had prepared in secret. The aircraft slammed onto the runway, wheels shrieking as sparks flew. Smoke filled the cabin. When the plane finally stopped, passengers sobbed with relief, and injured operatives steadied themselves amid the chaos. Emily rose slowly, every eye fixed on her. She was no longer the frightened woman from row 6. She looked ahead with resolve. "They wanted me dead because of what my father left behind," she said steadily. "But I won't hide anymore." The commander straightened and saluted, not as a soldier to a civilian, but as a warrior to another. "Your father would be proud," he said quietly. Agents rushed aboard to secure the scene. Medics tended to the wounded. As Emily stepped into the cold night air of Washington, D.C., sirens wailed in the distance. She inhaled deeply, knowing this was only the beginning. She walked across the tarmac, her father's lullaby replaying in her mind. Each note held meaning now, coordinates to something the world wasn't meant to see. Somewhere out there was the evidence Nathan Harper had died protecting. And now, his daughter carried it in her memory. The commander caught up to her. "Black Talon won't stop," he warned. "They've already lost too much." Emily met his gaze. "Then they'll lose everything." He nodded once, recognizing the same determination that once drove her father. "We'll protect you," he promised. "I don't need protection," she replied. "I need allies." Beyond the flashing lights and chaos, Emily spotted news crews gathering, the world unaware of the covert battle that had just unfolded above their capital. For now, the truth remained hidden, but not for long. In the distance, the wrecked plane loomed under floodlights. Technicians swarmed around it, retrieving debris. Unaware that the real treasure wasn't on board, it lived within Emily Harper's memory. Later, as dawn broke, she sat inside a military vehicle, exhaustion pulling at her, but her mind sharp.
Ow.
The commander handed her a secure tablet. On it, the words appeared. "Operation Ghostline. Authorized access. Emily Harper." Her father's handwriting flashed on the screen beside a single line. "If you're reading this, finish what I couldn't." Tears filled her eyes, but she smiled faintly. The message wasn't a farewell, it was a command. Outside, Washington stirred awake, oblivious to the storm about to break. Emily stared out the window, determination replacing grief. "You started this war, Dad," she whispered. "I'll end it." Black Talon was still out there, regrouping after their failed strike. But Emily now held what they feared most, the map to their destruction. Every lyric of that childhood lullaby guided her closer to the hidden truth. She knew her path wouldn't end in safety. It would lead into the same shadows her father once walked, where secrets decided nations and silence killed faster than bullets. But she was ready. When the transport halted outside a covert facility, she stepped out, the morning wind tugging at her hair. Agents watched her with quiet respect. She'd survived what none of them could imagine. One operative asked, "What now?" Emily looked east, where the first light touched the horizon. "Now," she said, "we hunt." And with that, the daughter of Nathan Harper, the woman once asleep in row 6, walked into the unknown. Carrying her father's legacy and the fate of countless lives, the war her father began in silence had found its voice, hers. Because Emily Harper was no longer running, she was leading, and this was only the beginning.